Welcome back, everyone, to Binford Chronicles. I'm Joanne Binford. Today, I wanted to try something a little bit different. I would love to invite you to the show, and you can do that by clicking the link below. I put it in the descriptions. It's a link to my studio, and if you wanted to join the conversation. What I wanted to do today is I wanted to start out discussing the I like Rand Paul, and I have a reason to like him. We need our legislators and our senators, or everybody that's a representative for us to be constitutional representatives. And when they get up there, they're passing legislation, and that legislation needs to be constitutional legislation to secure our republic, to secure the rights that we have. And when you look at the voting records of our legislators, you understand more and more why there is no legislation being passed for Trump when he wants it. Why there's this corruptness going on in our House. Taxes, giving all that money. Remember Doge? All that money that was going to countries for circumcisions, for Sesame Street, for just crazy stuff. All our money. And now we had the open borders, all these Somalians, all these dangerous people coming in. We're seeing the sleeper cells hitting targets here and there. You don't know if you're safe when you leave the house anymore. So, what I wanted to do is start out with Rand Paul because he is one of my favorite senators. And, we've got senators up there like Murkowski. Now, remember, the bills go through the House, they go through committee, they go through the House, and they go to the Senate. And these are the legislators in the Senate that are going to pass this bill or put it out there, put it on the floor for a vote, and then it goes to the president's desk. Now, if you have legislators that are really Democrats or really socialists, they're really not constitutional representatives of the people of America. If they really were, we still would not have Ilhan Omar in office. So let me take a break for a commercial. It's Two for America. Listen to this carefully. It's coming up. We're going to try to get everybody together on two occasions to pray for America, and it's going to light up on this big board. So stick around for this commercial, and I'm going to come back and put Rand Paul on explaining why he brought this up. And I know everybody's saying it was about me, it was about me, but you have to think of the principle of what happened. And that's what he was trying to convey. I understood it once I listened to it a little bit more, and now I know why he brought it up. And I see his concern. So let's break for a commercial.
We're going to stop the whole world for 2 minutes. Twice. 2 different moments, 2 historical moments. First, we will gather everyone in Christian ministry, from the pastors to the janitors, in every church and ministry from the 194 nations, to pray for America, all at the same moment in time, for the first time ever, on July 3rd, on the eve of America's 250th birthday. To then kick off the global sign-up of 2 billion believers led through the unique app technology for one singular global moment of awakening on November 1st, 2026, All Saints Day, a Sunday, 2 days before America's elections. The global Christian ministry leaders and servants leading the world to a seminal moment in American history. The moment the entire world stops to pay America back by praying for America for 2 minutes.
Welcome back to Binford Chronicles. I hope you listened to that commercial. We're going to pray for America for 2 minutes, once on July 3rd, once on November 1st for All Saints Day. And go to Two for America to sign up. Your county will show up on the board. It's an app that you put on your phone, and we're going to pray for America. I love that. It's just fantastic. So let's move on to Rand Paul. Everybody's giving Rand Paul kind of a hard time because, he was talking about something. He was attacked. he had part of his lung removed because of this attack on his lawn. And I never heard the whole story of it, and he actually told the story. And after I heard the story, I really understood why he brought it up and why he was concerned. I can see Mullen bowing up. I can see him, having that personality. But the fact that he didn't really have a better composure about it, to me says, yeah, we can have another blow up. So I see the concern there. Let me take you to the reporter session where he's talking with reporters about it, about what happened on the floor when he was questioning him before Mullen got accepted and confirmed. So let's go to that video.
Voting for this nomination?
I think there are anger issues. I think there's a lack of contrition, both about the violence that was perpetrated on me, but really the violent episode he was involved in the Senate committee where he's told the media, frankly, that he doesn't regret it. He's also told the media there, as he said it again today, that there's historical precedent for violence, that caning and dueling happened all the time. And I pointed out, well, it was illegal 170, 200 years ago. They would actually flee, and they would do it in areas that could find where the law didn't reach. Sometimes they would actually go to Canada. Sometimes they'd go from one state to the other. But the mass of civilized response, even in the 1850s or 1830s, was against dueling. That's why dueling was made illegal. The fact that he can't bring himself to say that, really we shouldn't settle political questions with violence, I think that would be a terrible example for ICE and for our Border Patrol agents. We're in the midst, I think, of a crisis where there needs to be more direction from the top. And a guy who brawls, a guy who can't even say he's sorry about, wishing violence on me and really applauding the attack that happened on me, can't come to say that. I don't know how he could, from my point of view, be a leader of ICE or Border Patrol.
So are
you saying you're no?
Wow, they get so loud so fast. But he's making sense, You cannot be, he should have said that he does not stand with violence. That's what happened to Charlie Kirk. Simple dialogue, disagreeing. People are doing that. They're getting violent. And it's important to know that our representatives have the composure to realize when it's appropriate to say, yeah, what happened to you was terrible, and people should have the freedom for dialogue and to have disagreement. But to condone, to not say, hey, what happened to you, Rand Paul, was bad, and what I said was, I retract that. Now I realize, especially after what happened to Charlie Kirk. So now I understand a little better where Rand Paul is coming from. He is really one of the minorities that we need in Senate because Rand Paul has a given record. Now you hear Mullen talking about how or was it Susan Ernst? I forget her first name, but Representative Ernst, she was talking about how Mullen crosses the aisles and negotiates across the aisles. Well, I'm going to show you how he crosses the aisles. We need senators that are going to try to train those people that are not voting constitutionally to entice them to be loyal to our Constitution and become representatives of the Constitution. And that's what's the problem is with our representatives. If we've got a Democratic Party, and even Fetterman has said it, there is no more Democratic Party. They've gone so far from passing legislation that's constitutional that they don't even know what constitutional is anymore, or they just don't even care. Now let's take a look at Mullen's record, his voting record history. And I preach this all the time. Go to thefreedomindex.org and you can read what bill it was for yourself to see whether his vote was constitutional or not. Now, it's already graded and it explains to you why it was constitutional and why it wasn't constitutional. But this is up to you to really take on that role. and figure it out. Because what's happening here is Trump has advisors. I love Trump, and I really stand with him, just like Massey does. But there is several areas where I will not agree with him. You know, I don't agree with the Epstein files. I don't agree with when he supported the bump stock bans. I don't agree with some of the you know, I can go down the list, but I don't want to spend my time doing that. I want you to take a seat back before you hear and jump on the bandwagon because you love Trump, and start rejecting the only real constitutionalist representatives that we have that help to pass legislation, because we are full of rhinos. We are full of people that are truly Democrats, I believe, in my opinion, are true Democrats, but they're under the Republican title. So let's go over. I'm going to do some share screens because I have the Freedom Index pulled up, and I just want you to take a look at that. So here's, excuse me, Mark Wayne Mullen. He has been in office. He's been in the 114th Congress. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's 6, 7 now, 6 terms. Now he's at 67%. It's terrible. And then I want you to look at this. These are the bills that he voted on. And you can see the judgment of the bills. You can press here at Alaska Petroleum, Federal Reserve interest payments. You can read about it. This is legislation. This is their job. They're supposed to be passing constitutional legislation. Republicans are supposed to keep government small. Why? Because when you have a smaller government, the people have more control. When you have a larger government, the people have less control. And you want the people to have that control and have that freedom so that they can prosper, so that you can have the American dream. When you have all these controls, just like small businesses, sometimes they go out of business because they are so bombarded with rules and regulations. There are some rules, some regulations, but you bog them down so much, and then with fees and things like that, that they just can't survive. And just when they went and decided, oh, we're going to have $20, or, you know, minimum wage is going to, in 3 years or 4 years, it's going to be $20. Who can afford that in a small business? You know, you've got to run your business the way you can. And, you know, there's labor laws to protect people from being abused in labor, but you still have to give people the freedom to grow, to rise, to experiment, to have control of their future, to have a say, to have an interest in their future. And I'm showing you these bills. Look at these bills. It tells you why. Not constitutional. Not constitutional. The Genius Act, the Appliance Efficiency Regulations. Look, here's one where there was no vote cast. I never understand that. I want to ask a legislator about that one day. It just never comes up because we're always talking about more important things. USAID funding. So you can go and look at your legislators. You can check them out and say, hey, why are they voting this way? So let's go. I'm going to pull this down. And I want to show you Rand Paul. Okay? And I know everybody's going to have disagreements, guys. But you can't just hang somebody out to dry because you now disagree with them, or they disagreed with you, or, you know, there was some reason that now they you know, it's not working out between you guys. You have to take into account what these legislators do, how they do it, when they do it. I just lost my screen, so hang on here. I gotta blow my screen up because I just lost it. But I know you see it. You can see Rand Paul up on the screen. And here he is. Okay. Now let's scroll so you can see his entire history. This is his voting, his constitutional voting record. We have a minority of these guys. That's why we have so many issues with Trump getting his agenda. So Rand Paul was against one thing. So Massey was against one thing. Why don't you listen to him and have the conversation with the video or whatever, or somebody, and discuss it and try to see where they're coming from, where the stance is. But these are strong constitutionalists. They are supporting the Republic's legislation. And if you get rid of these guys, you're going to be left with a bunch of guys that are voting like Democrats. They're crossing the aisle 24/7. I don't want a Republican representative crossing the aisle 24/7, especially in these times, because the other side of the aisle is not even a little bit Democratic. They're not. They are vindictive. They hate Trump, so they don't care how they make the people suffer. Look at all these TSA people that are not working, because of the left. And, I really wanted you to take a look at this because this is really important to understand and to take into consideration. These guys are the minority. They're not the majority in the House. They're the minority. And we need to start functioning like a republic with constitutional representatives that are passing legislation constitutionally for America first. And that's when we'll see things change. I'll pull up Massey, because I totally support Massey. Yeah, he's a good guy. He's not getting rich off of, the stock market. But look at his voting record. You going to tell me you're going to throw this guy aside? You're just going to trash him? You're just going to say, screw you because Trump's mad at you? Screw you, you're going to call this guy a turncoat? You're going to say that he's turned his back on the American people? His issue might be petty to you, but he has been standing for America 100%. He's got a 99% score. Consistent. Let me show you, okay? I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you Mullen. Where's Mullen at? There he goes. That's the guy that crosses the aisle all the time. Yeah, he crosses the aisle all the time, and it's evident. That is not a Republican constitutional representative. No. And you can look up his bills. You can check them out all you want. And that's on the freedomindex.org. Now, I can pull up Murkowski. She's got a terrible record, and she's a senator. That drives me crazy. When you look at a senator like Murkowski, and she's scoring so low, and she's been in office for, oh my goodness, forever and ever and ever and ever. I'm gonna see if I could pull her up real quick and not have it take too much time. But to take a look at Murkowski, they kind of redid this site, so I'm a little. Let me see. I put her name here or here, Murkowski. All right, let me show you this Republican. Okay, I'm going to pull Murkowski up for you. So let me pull him down, and I'm going to get Murkowski for you. Lisa Murkowski. Do you see her? Look how long she's been in office. Her voting score, her constitutional voting score, and she's a Republican and a senator who passes legislation, who votes on legislation to pass it to go to Trump's desk, to the president's desk. 53%, 35%, 38%, 62%, 60%, 45%, 50, 35, 44, 45, 47, 46. Total average 46%. This helps me to totally understand why the Republican Party is so fractured. So, before I go and judging, just like Marjorie Taylor Greene, I can pull up Marjorie Taylor Greene's record for you. Everybody's just trashing her. I've been following Marjorie Taylor Greene since, I don't know, 2016, when she was just driving in her car, talking to everybody on her way to pick up her kids from school, leaving work. That's how long I've followed that woman. And you know what? You can say what you want to say, but hey, let me see. She's probably still in there. Let me try to pull her up. Okay? So you see Marjorie? In all the years, she's been a constitutional legislator. That's what we need. I don't care if she talked to the five. I don't care. What I care about is she backing the people of the United States? Is she passing good legislation for us, for our freedoms, for our rights? She was. Yeah, so she wasn't perfect. But you know what? I look at the productivity that's coming out of her. Yeah, so you don't like what she has to say. You can't like what everybody has to say. Sometimes I don't like what Trump says. But I still love the things that he does that secures our borders, the other things that he does. He's not a legislator, so I don't expect him to really care about legislation as much as we expect him to. He wants the country to be powerful. It's just like this war. He wants us to be energy dominant. He wanted us to be energy dominant in his first term. Remember that? The pipeline. He wanted us energy dominant. We don't want to rely on them. We want them to rely on us. I agree with that 100%. Tariffs? We used to have tariffs. Good idea. Gold's been going up and down. Crazy. Love it. Love it. If you've invested in gold, love it. You're loving it too. Do we want to get rid of the banks? I would love for that to happen. Just don't know how it would happen. It's above my pay grade. But these are representatives that may have flaws, but overall, they watched your back when it came to legislation. I don't care what anybody says about Marjorie Taylor Greene. I've been pissed off at her before. And it's okay to be pissed at her, but I would not kick her out of Congress, and I would not call her a traitor. I would never call her a traitor. I would be like, why the F are you doing that? Yeah, I would be like that. But I would never call her a traitor. A lot of these people, when they go in it hardcore to fight for good legislation, I can tell you, a lot of people didn't like her votes when she was voting like she's supposed to be, a constitutional conservative legislator. That's right. When they do that, the others that are rhinos, that you call rhinos, and they're on both sides of the aisles, as you can see, you've got Senator Murkowski, who's in one of those positions where if the speaker puts it out there, if it goes to the floor and it gets voted on, she's one of those votes that can pass it or stop it from passing. And she has passed a lot of crappy legislation. I'm telling you guys, I know you love this country just like I do, but we have to understand that when Trump gets pissed off at these people, he's not 100% right in treating them the way he should have never did what he did to Marjorie Taylor Greene. And yeah, you're probably saying, oh, she shouldn't have said that. No, but you know what? She respected him a lot. She did a lot for Trump. She worked tirelessly to to promote him, to want to see him on the ballot, to want to see him take office. Okay, she was hard and she fought back hard. So cut it out because we lost a good one. We lost a good one. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. You get pissed off. I get pissed off. Our freaking we get full sometimes of the bull. Okay? The kettle get tips over. But overall, she was consistent. She was consistent. Just like Rand Paul, just like Massey, Chip Roy. We've got a bunch of them in there, but they're not the majority. They're the minority. So if you want to really dog somebody in Congress, dog one of our representatives, dog the ones that are scoring 67%, 65%, 45%, 47%. Get their asses out of office because they're the ones that are constantly crossing the aisle, and the aisle they cross is not to a Democratic side anymore. There is no Democratic side. It is a Marxist, socialist, hate America side. The Trump derangement syndrome, it's just off the charts. It's totally off the charts. So that's what I wanted to share with you. I would love you to come on if you wanted to come on and battle me with that. But I think this is a very helpful tool, and I would love for you guys to start using it. And before you start tearing up legislators and representatives that are doing a fantastic job. Let me see if I can pull somebody else up. Let me see if I can. Let's see, all legislators. I'm going to show you this screen because it's just going to throw everybody up there. Okay, just bear with me. This is going to throw everybody up there, and we'll just scroll. Check it out. Democrat. Did I tell you? Democrat socialists. Republican, 58%. Why isn't anybody tearing him a new hole? Pete Aguilar, 7% Democrat. That's not a Democrat. That should say Socialist Party right there. Alfred Mark, 68%. Republican, 65%. Look at these scores. 55% as a Republican. That's his freedom score. They call it a freedom score. But that's what they're doing is they are writing bills and voting on these to pass them. And they need to be constitutional for our republic to stay strong, for our republic to stay free, for our liberties to be here, to give us the strength to not be invaded by people that want to destroy our culture. Look at this, a Democrat, 0. He's not even doing his job. That's the left. He is not even doing his job, and he's taking your tax dollars. Why isn't anybody getting rid of this person? 5%. 95% of the time, she's probably doing her nails or picking her nose. How do you even have a legislative score like that when you have taken an oath to the Constitution? It just burns me. Look at all these Republicans. Why is Don Bacon, why is his constitutional voting score a 49? You know why? Because he's a Democrat. In my opinion, if you can't score at least a 70, you're absolutely a Democrat. And people are ripping Marjorie Taylor Greene a new hole. People are going against Rand Paul. People are tearing up Massey. They've even done it to Chip Roy. Come on, guys. Do you see what I'm saying here? I love you guys, but come on. Be aware of who you're throwing to the curb. Because these people, Right here, 57, he's hanging out with the Democrats. Look at all these Republicans. Aaron Bean, he's dropping. But look at these Republicans. Oh, look, another 0 Democrat. Boy, I wish I could have a job and do 0 work. He couldn't even vote on Democrat bills. Heaven's sakes. Look, Biggs, this is what we need. Andy Biggs, these are constitutional representatives of America. These are the America First people. Sherry Biggs, these are America First people. That's what we need. And we don't need to rip them a new hole. We don't need to call them terrorists. We don't need to go against them. We need to find out more about what led them to their decision if it's something we disagree with, because 95% of the time they have your back. They're fighting for America. America first. Lauren Boebert, 93%. Look at all these scores. It's atrocious. It's atrocious. It shouldn't be like this either on either side, because the Democrats are showing you they are not America first. They are not constitutional. They don't care about what the Constitution represents for us. They don't. This is what we need more of. 98%, 89%, 94%. This is what we need. You know, Kate Comack. Here's Capito. 47%. She's a senator. She is a senator. I mean, so I've got to stick up for my constitutionalists. They're not perfect, and I don't always agree, you know, but I know they've got our back. I know they have the principles, integrity, and the morals for what America is. Cloud, great. Clyde's he's had a pretty good score for a long time. Cole, who is that? Oh, Oklahoma. Kentucky. Comer, 72%. Collins, 87. He needs to bring his score up. And look at Cornyn. Look at that little piece of poo-poo. Look at that. Republican, crossing the aisle all the time. And as you can see, in between all these 50s and 60s, you have the 5s, the 8s, the 9s. These are not Democrats. They must hate America. They really must hate America. Crane, he's been so steady. He's been consistent. This guy, very consistent. Crenshaw, an embarrassment to the military. 59, 59, 68. These guys, they're too busy hanging out on the other side. Crank, 80%. To me, that's kind of low, but it's better than the others. Look at this. Senator. That's what kills me, is the senators, they're not even strong constitutionalists. Look at all these scores. I just had to show it to you because I'm tired of listening to people tear. Oh, Diaz Ballard, he's got to get out of here. We got to get him out. I'm sick and tired of hearing people beat up on the minority that we have of strong constitutional legislators. Know what you're trying to kill. Know what you're trying to squash. Because you lose these 90s and 80s and you'll end up with this. You'll totally fracture, even worse, the Republican Party. Look at this. Republican, Texas. Emmer. This is why I knew I was like, makes sense that somebody would think that he would be House Speaker. Edwards, 52. 59, 68. So many Republicans at a low freedom score. This has to do with the legislation that leaves their offices, the legislation for America. You can't be America first like this. Oh yeah, and that's Frost. We need to get rid of him too in office. Somebody needs to beat him. We need a real person to fulfill a Democrat seat that believes in the democratic ways that they used to be. You know, Democrats were not as far off as they are now today. Look at Gil, great score. Jimenez, remember when Trump endorsed Jimenez? I don't even care about who Trump endorses anymore. It doesn't impress me. When I heard he endorsed Jimenez and then Jimenez's audience, the audience booed when Trump endorsed Jimenez. Yeah. So to me, because Trump endorses somebody, it actually means nothing to me. I need to research it, look at it myself, because a lot of times Trump is so busy and focused on the bigger things that he's got advisors, and his advisors will be the ones that will stray him away from a really good, strong grassroots candidate to someone else that's going to meet their agenda. And it's going to be somebody like Jimenez who crosses the aisle big time. He's a big aisle crosser. I mean, if you wanted to see his record, I could show you his voting record. But all you got to do is go to thefreedomindex.org and just educate yourself on this. Educate yourself on these people. So when people say, you know, Republicans can't agree on anything, well, of course they can't. You cannot put a strong America First constitutionalist across the table from another Republican who is scoring at 63 and 57 and think that they're going to meet and agree, because that 57 is not a strong America First constitutionalist. Look at Lindsey Graham. He's a senator. And Trump praises everything about him. You know what? We need strong people. We need strong people to keep America strong, to keep America first. Strong people that can stop these people from coming in our country and trying to take over our culture, to squash it. We need to make our culture strong. We need strong America First constitutionalists, people that are out there fighting every day the truth. There goes Marjorie Taylor Greene. Sorry to see her go. Loved her fire. Doesn't mean I agreed with everything 100%, but you know what? That woman was working for America first. That woman understood legislation was important. All of these executive orders that aren't getting passed, I hope you realize that what I'm showing you today is evidence of why it's not getting passed, because we have all of these people wearing the R that are not really America First. I love this lady. Look at Mike Herodopoulos, 65%. Ugh, I did not vote for him. I campaigned against him. Look at his score. It's crap. District 8, that's my district. Totally meeting what I knew he was going to do. This has to do with legislation, guys. That's what these guys are here for. They're writing bills and passing legislation. They're working for their states and for the nation. We got to figure that out. This guy, But you know what? He smiles well. He's friendly. He's a lobbyist as well, and donates where he knows he's going to get his chits. Totally political, and they play the game. So guess what? Grassroots candidates do not have a chance. They just don't have a chance, and it's getting farther. It's getting harder and harder, and more of a farther reach for us to get a grassroots candidate into office. It really is. Mark Harris, thank you for being a true representative. And I just, I'm going to speed it up here because my blood boils when I see all of these Republicans at such low scores. It makes my blood boil. It really does. How is John James representing me? He's not. How is that even a Republican? He's not representing me. I don't know. 49, David Joyce. Who the heck is he representing? Not me. Not America. And look at this, New Jersey. No wonder. That is a Democrat that ran as a Republican. How do you have a score that low? How embarrassing. But look, 48, 48. It's unacceptable. And these are the people that you guys should be like screaming about. Not the ones that are fighting for America. They're fighting for America because they are fighting against all these people that are against America, that call themselves Republicans. So they're fighting hard. 39. Really? You're killing me here. I mean, I got to stop looking at this. It should make your blood boil too, to look at this. And I don't even, the Democrat Party is not even a Democrat Party. I only call it the Democrat Party because there's nothing else to call it, because officially that's what they call themselves. But they're not the Democrat Party. But these scores is just, it's outrageous. So please, before you start dogging Rand Paul, Massey, Chip Roy, any of these hardcore constitutional legislators, take a look at the ones that are really fucking things up. Excuse my language. Sorry, it just got me so hot. Oh, it really got me so hot. I'm pissed. I need to take a break from that, because when I look at that, I'm just like, it's no wonder. It's no wonder. It's no wonder we are where we're at. And are we going to get it back? Because the majority is there. You saw how many. Are we ever going to get America back? I mean, Trump doesn't have a lot of time to do what he's got to do. And then he has to figure out who's sabotaging his decisions, who's giving him wrong information, because he has to rely on all of these departments around him to be honest and give him the right information, because Trump cannot be everywhere at once. But I will say he is the best person that we've had in a while. Reagan was my favorite. But Trump is the best person that we've had. We need him. Not perfect, but we need him. Now, I want to play a video before the TDS syndrome set in. Let's take a look at it.
We need to address the issue of immigration and the challenge we have of undocumented people in our country. We certainly don't want any more coming in.
Illegal immigration is wrong, plain and simple. Until the American people are convinced that we will stop future flows of illegal immigration, we will make no progress on dealing with the millions of illegal immigrants who are here now, and on rationalizing our system of legal immigration. When we use phrases like undocumented workers, we convey a message to the American people that their government is not serious about combating illegal immigration, which the American people overwhelmingly oppose. If you don't think it's illegal, you're not going to say it. I think it is illegal and wrong. People who enter the United States without our permission are illegal aliens, and illegal aliens should not be treated the same as people who entered the U.S. legally.
Yeah, I know a lot of you already know about this and heard this, but it burns me, because that's how, and you saw it in those scores. When people are a Democratic, on the Democratic side, which we know it's not Democratic anymore, scoring in the 5s and the 0s and the 15% voting, they're just not doing their job because they just don't care. They're not American. Look at Schumer talking about immigration, Pelosi talking about immigration. It's the Trump derangement syndrome that has set in, and all of a sudden, this corruptness to go against America. Right now, the American people are suffering that are on furlough. Like, there could be two people, there could be a husband and wife, and even an adult kid working at TSA, working in one of these furloughed positions that are not getting any pay, any transportation, any money. The American people are suffering because of this party, this corrupt, America hating party.
The core of the bill is handing the voter rolls over to DHS, putting them through an algorithm designed by Moj and Musk that supposedly knocks out illegal immigrants from voting.
Have you not heard this? I've heard it, and I had to play it again. And I'm sure some of you have heard it. But he said the quiet thing out loud: to knock illegal immigrants off the voter rolls. Yet they were just touting years ago that illegal immigration is wrong. It's not acceptable. No. But here, they've gone so against America. They've turned to evil. This isn't evil. This is about evil and good. They have literally turned against America. And you can see it in those two different clips. Let's see what Pelosi has to say.
California lawmakers just passed a law, it hasn't been signed by Governor Newsom, but giving government assistance to undocumented immigrants to buy houses. Mm-hmm. That's kind of a different place than the Democratic Party used to be on immigration, is it not? I'm not going to say that's what the country's going to do, but that's certainly where California is.
Well, let me just say, immigration had always been a bipartisan issue. I refer you to
But not free houses.
Well, that's not free housing. It's the American dream being available to more people. But understand this about immigration. The best speech on immigration was by President Ronald Reagan. This is the last speech I will make as President of the United States. I want to communicate a message to the country I love. And he talked about the Statue of Liberty and the beacon of hope it is to the world, and what America was preeminent in the world because our door was always open, and we will cease to be preeminent when we shut the door. Now, I don't do justice to the great communicator. Google it. It's a fabulous speech. And George Herbert Walker Bush continued in that respect for the diversity of America and the rest. California's always in the lead. Maybe others will follow that lead, but that's up to those states. But we're very blessed here with beautiful diversity.
So you'd vote for this law?
Excuse me?
So you'd vote for this law?
Well, I'm not familiar with exactly what it is, but making the American dream of home ownership available to all people is something we have to do for people who are here now.
This is before you're a citizen. This is undocumented. This is for the undocumented.
Well, what I would like to do is move them to documented. The fact that we can move them to documented. And one of the best things that we can do for our economy is to pass comprehensive immigration reform.
First of all, I want to be undocumented if I can just be undocumented and get a home. My taxes go towards this, whatever plan it is that she wants. But our borders are always open for legal entry, not illegal entry. That's why we have laws for that. And this is the party that has turned its back on America. California, remember the poop app? You can go to an app to know where all the poop is in the cities so that you don't go in those areas. California is not taking care of its own people. In a lot of these democratic cities in America, they're not taking care of their people. And it's getting worse now that these areas are being taken over by another culture, Islam. And Islam is taking over our culture because they're not here to assimilate. And this is what the open borders has brought on. And for people to be clapping, I don't understand that. How much do you want to keep paying in taxes? How much do you want to keep working paycheck to paycheck? Already, have you guys not realized that when you were 25, I'm talking about people my age, the difference in your age at 25 and what you could be independent in, your own apartment, your own car, some people own house, our own kids can't do that today. So those people clapping, they're clapping in an ignorant manner because they don't realize that that clapping, what they're supporting, is giving less of opportunity to their kids. And the opportunity is going to illegal immigrants. Look at all the fraud that's happened in Minnesota. Look at the abomination of peaceful streets in Dearborn, Michigan. It's happening in New York City now. When are people going to wake up and realize that this is an attack on America from within? It's coming from within because the from within let these animals into our country. Let these people that want to take over Western civilization. And that's what I'm calling an animal. Yes, because that is not a religion of peace. And it is going to disguise itself so that people can say, oh, it's not like that, it's not like that. But as it grows stronger, just look at Europe. Britain is no longer, it's no longer Britain. You know, they're losing their country. They're losing their nation over there. And it's going to happen here in America if we don't get our act together. And if we don't start paying attention to who the real legislative representatives are. And just because Trump's mad at one of them, don't trash them. Don't primary them. Primary the ones that are not doing their job. Do your research. Let's take a look at this other soundbite that I put together of what is in America now and the frame of mind. This isn't coming from me. This isn't coming from AI. This is them openly telling us what's happening.
If we have enough authority and we have enough power, we are obliged as Muslims to take the authority away from the people who have it and implement the Sharia. Now, I hope that can come in a very peaceful way. I hope that we can do that in a way, where there's no bloodshed. The Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that, if the Muslims have authority and they have the ability to remove oppression, they must remove the oppression. So we believe man-made law is oppression.
So you believe America, Great Britain, all of Europe will be Islamic states living under Sharia eventually?
Inevitably. This will happen. This is the promise of God.
You're confident it's going to happen?
I'm not confident. I'm convinced. I'm 100% certain that the Sharia will be implemented in America and in Britain one day.
Now, if you think he's convinced when he's talking about it now, imagine how convinced they are now that Ma'am Dammy became the first Muslim mayor of the largest city. New York City is not just Manhattan. It's Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, Staten Island, 5 boroughs. They just conquered New York. And that is a huge sign to them that they are in jihad by the ballot. And they will continue to apply for representative seats because when they get in there, they can change the laws and they will change our culture if we are not standing our ground, if we are not hanging on to our constitutional representatives and backing them up. Hey, they're not going to say the perfect thing all the time. But we can't just get rid of them and turn our backs on them and say you're a traitor, or you need to move on. I just showed you a bunch of representatives that do need to move on, but nobody's dogging them. Nobody is kicking them to the curb, because they're wearing the R. They are representing themselves as constitutional legislators, and they're not. They aren't. Let me show you one more soundbite of where we are here in America and what the ideology is that's in America. You've already heard the news of the sleeper cells. What did we have? Like, just in March alone, we had 4 ISIS attacks. So ISIS influenced attacks. Let me correct that. All right, so let's listen to the soundbite that I have for you.
Allah is not shy of the truth. We don't say that Islam is here to live, to coexist with lots of different religions and all of us can just hold hands and be friends. This religion was sent to dominate the world. It was sent to be superior, to extinguish the light of every other religion and to be superior to it. We're not shy to say it, and we don't find that to be something that we should be shy to say. That this religion has been sent to dominate, to wipe out, to take out every other religion, to eclipse it, to be superior to it, to have the people leave every religion and to accept Islam. And if that requires fighting to achieve it, then it requires fighting to achieve it. Because the greatest purpose for which jihad was legislated is to make the word of Allah the highest and the word of those who disbelieve the lowest.
So you heard it yourself. Hang on. Hannah, I'll call you back. So you heard it yourself from the mouth of the babes. Right now, they're introducing Islam in its softest appearance. Why? So that they convince all of these dumb Americans, these people that are looking for something, that Islam is peaceful. It is not peaceful. Right now, we are in the middle of jihad, and the threat is increasing with the sleeper cells that are located everywhere throughout the United States. And as they gain power, which they are viewing themselves as gaining power, they've got Dearborn, Michigan, Patterson, New Jersey, Texas, they're in North Carolina now, they're in California, they're in Pennsylvania. New York City was the trophy. They are getting stronger, and when they get stronger, they get more aggressive. When they get into political power and they start trying to change laws and people push back, you'll see the aggression rise. And if we don't pull together, if we don't mobilize for this great America, this great nation, we just might see the battles in the streets like they see in Egypt, in Iran, in Pakistan. You might see fights like that happening here. So just think about it. Learn about your history. This is a struggle between good and evil. Islam is not a peaceful religion. Listen to Brigitte Gabriel. Brigitte Gabriel talks about it all the time. She tries to warn us and tell us about it. We have people on X, Facebook, Twitter. They're all trying to share the message. And you can find these people, like the soundbite I just gave you, speaking their truth. Either you love America or you want this suppression. But we love America, and we will fight. We will stand our ground against this evil. And this is an evil that has entered into the United States. So I want to thank you again for joining us. at Binford Chronicles, and I hope you guys have a good evening. And I hope that I left you with something to think about. And remember, go to thefreedomindex.org. Familiarize yourself with the representatives and how they're voting on the bills. You can look at the bills on that website, and you can see how your representatives are doing. And you can get their phone numbers, and you can call them, and you can leave a message and tell them, hey, you need to up your game. Hey, vote on this bill. Get active, because if we don't stay active, we're going to lose our country. All right, guys, remember to go to Binford Chronicles to check out my other videos. Go to IRC Media to check out all the other podcasts that IRC Media has. And every second Thursday of the month, John Karapi from TGI Now hosts the Conspiracy Club 101. A lot of people show up. I've met some friends there, and it's just a fun way to meet people and have a nice gathering. Have a good night.